who's our director. Do we have the actors that we know here? Does anybody know who the actors are? I'm going to have David do this because he knows who's here.
I mean, I think so anyway. We have Laura Smith, one of our producers. No one saw that.
One of our actors is supposed to be here, but I haven't seen him. Jake, where are you here?
Jake?
Jake
Gyllenhaal, are you here?
Night Crow.
This is us.
Hello, everybody. How are you? I think we only have a few mics that we're going to share, so let's scrunch in here.
Yeah.
Can somebody turn the titles off, please?
I want to see them in that work on the movie.
Or just leave them running?
Operation Get
One
Down.
of the two. So, let's first talk about this really fun and amazing film, the smaller independent film, which is, of course, the backbone of filmmaking. You did this, went to Cannes, it's got these amazing reviews. I think everybody here liked it.
Yeah!
And so my first question is, what do you have against sex, dude?
Nothing. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that, honestly. I think that, yeah, next question.
Let's start with like where this came from. So this came from your nightmares as a kid.
It did, yeah.
Why don't we talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it came from a recurring nightmare I had. Oh, they can hear me. Can you hear me? Yeah, they can hear me. I've done this before.
Okay. He did this last night with Edgar Wright. The Edgar Wright. You know who that is?
Damn it.
That's kind of cool.
So, yeah, it was a recurring nightmare when I was like 9 or 10 years old. In it, I was followed by this monster that would look like different people I knew, strangers, and it walked very slowly, but it was always coming toward me. So it was very disturbing. It wasn't so much that I could get away from it, but it was the idea that it was always coming for me. And so I stopped having that, but that nightmare, probably around 9 or 10, but it sat with me. It's something I've always remembered. And then over the years, when I started thinking about trying to make a horror film, I just thought about that nightmare, and I started obviously adding elements to it, as an adult. And, at some point, I wanted to sort of connect the characters in some way. I wanted to have this be something that could move between them, and then that's when I added, the sex element in that. I like the idea that sex, connects these characters physically and emotionally, and it also sort of tied into some of the other themes that I was, working with the story.
How long did it take you to write? When you sit down, are you a fast writer? Are you a slow writer? What's that process like for you?
Yeah, I mean, once I have something figured out or in my head, I write pretty quickly. This one was extra fast. I usually can write like a draft in a few weeks to like a month is the normal time for me. But this one I wrote in under 2 weeks.
That's impressive. What did you do with the script once it was done?
Well, honestly, I just kind of set it aside. At the time, I was trying to put together a different film, which I had intended to be sort of my second film. It's really cool drama, but we were having trouble, pulling money together for that. And at a certain point, I realized like that one, I put so much time into it, it wasn't happening. I was like, I'd intended to make it follow as like my third movie, but I went, it's a genre film. Maybe I'll have a little bit easier time, getting financing for that project. So I sort of moved it up. But so it's basically I wrote it. It sat there for a little bit, and eventually I decided to do it.
Is this when you became involved, or how did this process occur that you became involved? Laura?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I got the script eventually. My producing partner had met David, and so the script was sent to me, and I just loved it. And obviously, David is so talented. And I saw his first film, and kind of imagining that aesthetic and vision on this genre space was so exciting, and just I was so excited to be a part of it and come on board. So then, but then we went ahead and put the money together, which came together pretty quickly, too. And I think people say themselves, it's a lot easier to get genre films financed, and then also just obviously his vision with that was.
But not easy, but like easy.
Yeah, not easy. And we could have definitely used more money. But
when you put it together and you got the financing, was there any talent attached? Because this is one of the films where the talent, they're really not well-known names, and a lot of the time pre-sales or something else in order to get that financing in. How did that come about without talent on board, or did you know that you were always going to have talent that didn't have bigger names in order to make it happen?
It was about for me, it was very important that we go into the casting process being able to find whoever we felt like was the right combination of actors and really just the best actors for each of those parts. So we went out looking for the money, and that was part of it.
That was a big part of it, that we weren't going to go with money that required certain names or anything, because that can just so often then lead to this kind of wrong formula. So yeah, we lucked out that we found financiers that would allow us to do that process.
Being a second-time director, do you think that helped get that financing since you'd already made a film? Would that have made a difference with this one? Because the script is really kind of, it's slow, but it really was about the visuals of how you told this. And I think that that's what everybody is really talking about is how nicely it's shot, how you're not doing a standard, let me put the camera down, right, everybody say your lines. You're actually constantly moving that camera, and that score, whoever you had write that score, brilliant.
Disaster piece. Yeah.
Fantastic, because that really sets the mood with the photography. Was that an easy sell to get the money? And talking just in terms of for you, did you have that visually when you were writing it?
Yeah, I mean, all of it was there. Usually when I write, I'm writing, imagining what the film looks like. I'm putting that together. Of course, Mike and we spent an enormous amount of time. I went through and did rough storyboards of the whole film well before pre-production, and then Mike and I spent a couple months meeting and going over that, sort of creating our language for the movie. And it was same thing. Rich Vreeland did the music, goes by Disaster Piece. I got in touch with him, way before we ever, got anywhere close to putting the film together. For me, creating a really strong score for this was vital. So, I mean, all those things, were definitely part of the plan. It was about making very, very strong, sort of deliberate. Everything needed to be a choice. It was about making, these very, very simple but strong, sort of bold choices in each of the areas of the movie, just in terms of the visuals and the sound design, the music, and our editorial choices. Everything was about being having a certain amount of control over these things and being precise.
Mike, as a cinematographer, when you were looking at the storyboards initially, how do you sit down and say, this is how I think we should shoot it? Here's the shot list. What are you working on with David?
Well, we were lucky enough we got some, 12 or so meetings in the course of 3 months where, David would come in with a really clear vision of how he's seen, and we talked about it, and so, we kind of had that time. I was very fortunate to have that time in pre-production before we even started shooting and like that, to just be able to think about different, just be able to explore it in ways, because, I feel like that was very crucial. A lot of times I feel like I show up on set and, that we're making choices then, and so that, to me, that pre-production with David was very helpful for me to be able to think, really get an idea of what was in David's mind and, the best way to execute that. So.
No, that's right.
How many people did you go through to cast all the different parts?
Oh, I don't remember. I mean, we worked with a really great casting director out of LA, Mark Bennett, and I don't remember, but I mean, that was probably just a couple months before in early pre-production.
Usually, when you get these smaller films as well, pre-production is very condensed, and it sounds like you actually have a lot more time.
Yeah, I mean, that was really just us putting our time in. It's not that there was there was not a budget for that. It's about us. We just all really, we're all friends, and we put a lot of, into it ultimately. Yeah, I mean, there's a budget. There's line items for some of this stuff, but a lot of this was just, us really caring and trying to put everything that we could in the movie. I mean, Julio and I have been friends for many years. He cut my first film. So there's the money, and then there's also us, just trying to. We just really care about movies.
But that's what makes it so unique, and what you can tell is there's so much heart in it, because it's actually people who want to make it, and that's a really nice element to it. I think that the film is really compelling to watch, and I think that's a large part of it. You've now worked with him twice. How much did you shoot on set? How much did you guys shoot on set, and how much did you have in terms of dailies that you had to go through in order to find the right scenes for
for Dave to look at.
So, as far as it follows,
When you were actually at it, was there a lot to shoot from? Because you guys only had 24 days, is my understanding, to shoot this.
So it was 25 and a couple extra, 25 days and a couple extra sort of half days or skeleton crew days.
it was they were impressively efficient for what I'd say for what the demands were. I mean, the thing is that they had these highly the blocking can be very subtly orchestrated, and sometimes a camera move would take all I feel like I don't even know how many degrees, like the 720 in the high school. I mean, but that's something I would say if you had a large budget, you would do that over 2 days. But no, what I'm saying is typically people would allow for that, but you guys did it in half a day.
Yeah, I mean,
We actually did it.
yeah, no, we did several locations.
Yeah, that was a big.
No, that was like we had multiple. No, that was a bunch. No, I would have liked to have had a little more time for that, 100%. But yeah, it was. We did 1, 2, 3. I mean, we were in like 4 different places that day.
Which again, speaking to the fact that I think for some independent films where they're just like, just grab whatever you can do and get out, where people are like, yes, we hit 33 setups today. They might get 10 setups, but they were extremely technical setups. They were very intricate, and to have that feel, I think, like somewhat organic or seamless speaks to how well these guys work together. And in the editing room, I put them together.
Did you test that shot? That shot in the school where you had to do the 760? Did you test that prior to going in there, or did you just go like, let's wing it and see what happened?
Yeah, we thought about it, and we showed up. And
Weekend.
around.
That was really cool. How many times did you shoot that?
I remember we rehearsed, we did a lot of those kind of takes. We rehearsed a lot, I think, and then we probably shot it.
Maybe 10?
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't remember how many were takes and actual rehearsals, but that was a really the school one. I don't know, but it was hard to do, honestly, just because we didn't have a lot of time. We didn't have a lot of time to prepare, and I think it's one of those where definitely there are some people on set kind of going, wait, why are you? There's a simple way to do this. Why are we making this hard on ourselves? We don't have a lot of time here, and it's just like no, because. Yeah, there's a simple way. I could do it really quick, but that's part of the fun is trying to push yourself and to do these fun, unique things. So that was always the goal, even if it is harder. So what? That's the point.
We were talking outside a little bit because there was a bit of a water theme that I thought was really interesting in the very beginning